So this video is going to be a quick overview of how things work in Final Cut Pro. This program has many sophisticated features that make it very powerful, but they also make it a bit intimidating at first. So I've created these tutorials with your practicums in mind to help you get the most out of the program and make it as easy as possible for you. To that end, I'm just going to go over the features that you should find most useful when creating your practicum projects. So this tutorial is just about your general workflow and not about any of the specific skills that you'll need moving forward. Each of those skills is going to have their own specific tutorial that goes into detail of all the different steps we're going to go over right now. So one important note before we move on is that all of these different windows are very customizable. You could say close any of them, move them around, or even change their sizes. And while that is useful sometimes, it's going to be hard for you to follow along if your windows look differently from mine. So how to get your windows back into that general standard view is you go up here to Window, then go to Arrange, and just go to Standard. And then we'll put them back into the standard layout that I use most of the time when I'm editing. So for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to say that you have two separate sessions that you would like to combine into a single movie. So once your files are off the camera, they appear in the browser window over here. There are many types of files within the browser window. The two that you're going to be most concerned with are clips, which are here that appear like a movie strip. These are the videos that you've captured off the camera. And then there are sequences. Sequences are where you can edit various clips together into a movie. So our first step is to double click on either of these two movie clips. And as soon as we do that, they appear over here in the viewer. Once it's in the viewer, you can click on it and then drag it down into our timeline. The timeline contains your sequences, and as we said, your sequences are where we put multiple clips together to make a final movie. So this yellow triangle and line are what's known as the playhead. Wherever they are in our sequence is what is being displayed up in the canvas window here. This is what our final movie is going to look like. When we push play here, you can see that the line moves forward. Then we can go back and drag with our mouse again and watch the canvas update. Currently, we have only one clip in the timeline. You can add a second clip by going through the same steps that we did before. Go back up to the browser window, double click on it, where it appears in the viewer, where we can preview it before we bring it down into our actual movie, and then click here and drag down into our sequence. So as you can see, you can put the clip on the same line, also known as a track, as the previous clip, or you can also layer your clips like this. What this means is, as we play through with our playhead, the movie that is on top is going to be what's displayed in the canvas and, of course, in our final movie. But both the audio for the original clip on the bottom here and the new clip here will be heard. There are many more tutorials on how to manipulate your footage in the timeline. But for now, let's just assume that we like our two clips playing one after the other with no additional text or edits done, all of which you'll be able to see more about later. But for now, we're just going to export these two clips into one movie like this. The process of exporting basically just generates a movie file that will be a QuickTime movie file, which you can play on your computer or also add it to a DVD. How we do that is we go up here to File, Export, QuickTime Conversion. Now, if you go to this Options tab, there's quite a few different settings, and we'll go over exactly what settings to use for what purposes in another tutorial. But for now, we'll just rename it. And we'll put it on our desktop so it's easy to find, and we hit Save. And this will take a few minutes to export. So that, in essence, is the general workflow of Final Cut Pro. You import movies off the camera into the browser window. You can then view them in the canvas, and then you bring them down into your sequence and edit them down here, and then you preview them over here in the canvas. And then when you're happy with your sequence, you export it.